Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Now, when it comes to Errol Spence, there's so much, whenever his name comes up, creates a buzz, right? Because there's so many fans. Damn, eye itching, who love Errol Spence. And even if Errol Spence isn't their favorite fighter, they have a lot of respect for him. Because one thing they they know is Errol Spence comes to the ring, he comes to fight. And that fight with Terrence Crawford, I think a lot of people developed respect for him, but also they also developed a little bit of like compassion for him because of everything this man has gone through, especially with the Ferrari crash and being thrown from the Ferrari and being banged up pretty bad. But one thing for sure, for the fans who respect him, those who have compassion, I think majority of people are feeling like, hey, Errol Spence should just retire. Has he had a Hall of Fame career already? Well, I'll tell you what, he'll be a candidate for sure. But the issue is this. In this latter part of his career, man's 35 years old, going on 36. How many champions can Errol Spence really defeat? Okay? And if he comes back and he gets in the ring with a fighter who's considered elite, no matter what weight it is, 150, 160, because we know he's not going back to 147. I think the consequences of continuing to fight too long can be catastrophic. When he fought Crawford, I kind of think that was one fight that should have happened and should not have happened. It should have happened because that's what the fans were promised, and all the momentum had built up to where it was about to, it was going to be an explosion, a backlash if the fight didn't happen. So he went forward and he made the fight happen. But it kind of probably shouldn't have done it when you look at how he looked in the ring. Of course, Terrence Crawford had a lot to do with how he looked, but you could just see, whether you're a Terrence Crawford fan or not, you could see that something was going on before. And I had called it like a month out that, Errol Spence's speech and etc. I was talking about it before anybody even noticed it. And I was like, why does he sound like that? But anyway, to come back now, I'm not sure what it's going to take, but I'm thinking maybe Turki Alalshikh can get Spence to really get back in the ring. Because this is one thing I want to point out. Is Al Heyman and everyone over there at PBC, are they mad at Errol Spence because he went forward with the Terrence Crawford fight, even though they advised him not to? So he did what he wanted. He made the fight he wanted. Basically, Crawford benefited. And financially, Spence benefited, but Crawford greatly benefited. And then all of a sudden, Errol Spence has been shelved. Now, we know he's had, reportedly, surgeries and a few other things that have derailed him or forced him to set aside his boxing career for over a year. But how about this, right? In addition to that, how about maybe PBC shelving his ass because they're like, oh, you didn't listen, boy. So we're going to teach you a lesson. Right? Hey, look, I'm just having a conversation. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. We're just talking. Because I do find it odd that a guy like Spence, who is looking to get back in the ring, hasn't been able to get back in the ring. He's one of I think him and Tank are the two biggest superstars. Canelo's kind of messing around with him a little bit, but really it's Tank and Spence. And Spence can't get back in the ring. But I'll tell you this. If there's anyone who can get Spence back, because we all know, like Canelo says, depends on the business. I'll fight anyone. And I think with Errol Spence, depends on the business, he'll come out of retirement or come out of hiding. And he'll fight. Now I know he's supposed to fight Fundora next year. I just have a feeling Errol Spence is not going to go into that fight with Fundora. I don't think he's going to do it. You know, boxing is a pretty expanded community. And if Errol Spence was training, right, somebody would get the leak. Somebody would know, like, this isn't secret squirrel shit. You know what I'm saying? This isn't a covert operation. We would know. So my thing is, if Errol Spence was really back training and had picked up a new trainer, right? How come that's not being reported? So I'm not I'm not gullible, right? I don't believe everything I hear. I'm a common sense man. And I think Errol Spence is kind of hit or miss on what he really wants to do. And when you have a fighter who's in a position like that and undecided, that means they're in limbo. Their career's in limbo. And it's probably best that they don't go forward to fight because now they're doing it for the money. And like I said earlier, it could result in catastrophic consequences if Errol Spence allows himself to get back in that ring. Even if Turki Alalshikh pulls him out and says, hey, I'll give you $70 million or $60 million. It's a lot of money. And Errol Spence said, hey, with the amount of money I can make for 36 minutes, 20, 30, 40, 50 million, right? I'll do it for my family because I know it's going to end one day. That explains why he took that Crawford fight. And that could be the motivation for him to come back now and get back in the ring. But it's going to have to be something that's going to be hard to turn down. Just like Canelo fighting Benavidez or fighting Crawford. You're going to have to give him some kind of money that's going to be damn near impossible for him to turn down. And this conversation isn't going to go away. Because you look at Deontay Wilder's looking to come back. You know why? Because Turki Alalshikh is able to lure everybody into that ring because of the money. If Turki Alalshikh has you on his radar and he wants to take care of you and he sees a good fight for you, he's gonna pay you. And for Deontay Wilder, I think he has a lot of struggles. Getting knocked out, a lot of injuries, personal stuff. And Errol Spence, going through what he went through with Crawford, a lot of injuries, inactivity. Those are struggles, man. And I think Spence, just like Wilder, I think they're kind of lucky to just be alive, be coherent, and still be able to plug along and do the things they enjoy doing for themselves and for their families. But I just have a feeling, man, it's going to be some huge money to get Errol Spence to really come back into that ring. Right? And I know what they're talking about, him and Fundora. I just have a feeling it's not going to happen. And I do think if you look at it, maybe the powers that be, the puppet masters, the key decision makers, those guys behind the scenes whose faces we never see, maybe they are trying to line up Spence to fight Fundora. If he beats Fundora, then now you got him and Crawford as a potential fight for a rematch for Undisputed. Like, they could be trying to line it up to go that direction. All I'm going to say is, the more I listen to Errol Spence and the little sound bites we get from him, the more I believe that he's not looking to return to that ring as anything other than a promoter. And should he retire? Look, it's like he said. He likes being a promoter. Words matter, people. Listen to what he said. The man said, I like being a promoter. I feel like it may be my calling. You know, when you hear a fighter say something like that, to me, that tells me they have one foot outside of goddamn boxing, and as far as a fighter, and one foot into doing something else that maybe they have a passion of. But the bottom line is both of your feet got to be inside boxing as a fighter. It doesn't sound like Errol Spence is that way. You're looking at the young guys coming up, trying to help them get to their top level. It sounds like he's taking a role more of a trainer, coach, mentor, not as a fighter. And for him to say that's where we're at right now, that tells me a whole lot about Errol Spence and where his mind is. His mind is not on anything other than really trying to develop Frank Martin and other fighters. What is going to take, in my opinion, to get Errol Spence back in that ring is some serious dough. Serious dough, man. Because there was a lot of speculation that Errol Spence will return soon to the ring, and Spence shut that shit down. He actually said, y'all dreaming. Haven't heard from anyone in months. Now he could just be trying to throw you off of his trail, or he could be trying to bring you guys on course to lead y'all to the right answers as far as what his true intentions are over the next couple months and years. And it sounded to me like his intentions are not to get into the ring. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Errol Spence is a lot of people's favorite fighter. And as much as they want to see him fight, they want to see him retire. And the more time goes by, the more people who feel like, no, we want to see him again, you know, that's our favorite fighter, the more they're starting to change their tune and want to see him retire. But I'm going to tell you this. If there's anyone who can bring Errol Spence back into that ring to fight, it ain't PBC and Al Heyman. It's going to be Turki Alalshikh maybe working with PBC, but they're going to have to put the money up. And I'm telling you, it's going to have to be something astronomical where Errol Spence is going to say, all right, F it. Win or lose, because he doesn't care. Win or lose, and we'll get that money. And go back to his ranch, and he don't care. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.